Please like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my latest video has come. And to learn more and to find a video relevant to you, please do check out my videos list.
Hello, namaskar and adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. If you look at any religious book, what are the things that the religious books promise us after our death, especially connected to heaven? All good things are promised to us, and all the good things that are promised to us are all related to Venus. None of them are related to Jupiter, like higher learning. None of them are related to Sun, where they talk about you will be more famous after you die in heaven. Nobody talks about that. Most of the rewards that you get, or almost all the rewards that you get in your post life or the life hereafter or in heaven, is all related to Venus. So Venus is the food of the gods, if you can say that. And when Venus gets associated with Rahu, then it can become one of the most challenging, emotionally upheaval bringing issues, material issues, or the juice of life issues that Rahu can throw at us because of its association with Venus. Now, the tragedy is that Rahu will be associated with Venus in some way or the other in your horoscope by virtue of its how far it is placed from Venus. Plus, if it forms any association by virtue of aspects or placed in Venus' sign, or forming any yoga with a planet which is placed in the sign of Venus, and so on. So Rahu tends to some way or the other try and sneak a relationship with Venus, because Rahu loves Venus. So Rahu in its various placements from Venus will give us different results in different areas of life, basis which houses Venus rules, what your ascendant is, what yogas or doshas are formed, and what is the overall chemistry between Rahu and Venus in the horoscope. So let's straight away jump into the analysis of Rahu versus Venus, which means how Rahu, when placed from various places or various houses from Venus, can give you different results. So first, let's go with the conjunction of Rahu and Venus, where they are placed together, or Rahu first from Venus or with Venus. Yeah, this is an unusual combination, because your materialistic life or materialistic juices and relationships are getting connected with a planet which brings unusual results, which is Rahu. So Rahu with Venus tends to give you unusual tastes in life, unusual relationships in life, unusual tendencies in life, and moves you in different directions in your aspirations. So sometimes your aspirations may also be unusual. Your choices in your life may be unusual. Those choices are generally those where society, in the society that you are staying, that society may take as unusual, different, or even or taboo. So what does this mean? It means that either in your association with either materialistic life or with the opposite gender, you may choose a relationship which falls out of social context. For example, in the Indian subcontinent, getting intimate with or a relationship with somebody who is out of your religion is still seen as a challenge, especially in smaller towns, which may not be the thing in the Western countries. So in the West, Venus and Rahu conjunctions is not more about intimacy or intimate relationship with the opposite gender, or unusual tendencies which the society may not be very comfortable with. For example, gay relationships, which the West is slowly getting warmed up to, but still to a large extent it is still seen with an eye of suspicion. Or getting in a relationship with huge age gap, or in relationship with somebody who may be completely different from your cultures, is what Rahu and Venus association or conjunction brings forward in your horoscope. Usually for such a person, life takes an unusual trajectory, and many times you are not in control of where you are leading, where you are going. So because we all want good things in life, so Rahu also takes Venus on a path towards materialism, and sometimes the choices are very unusual or different and take on a different path from usually somebody else who would go on the same path. Many times this conjunction or this coming together or Rahu first from Venus is also about having more wants than needs. So your needs may be less, but your wants will be so much exaggerated that you start assuming that your wants are your needs. Though your needs are less, but your wants are very high, your aspirations from a materialistic life are very high, and you may also like somebody or want to be with somebody who may be out of reach of you. So in a social strata, you may be somebody who is not so affluent, but may look up to or may have aspirations to be with somebody who is really very good looking, who may be coming from a very affluent background, and can be somebody who is almost unreachable for you, almost like a celebrity kind of a person in your life, if I can use the word, though it is not anything wrong to aspire for better things in life. However, the other person should also want to be with you. If you are somebody who's if you're a simpleton or you don't have much things to showcase in life or show in life, neither are you the sports star, or neither are you very bright, or neither are you very good looking. So here a person's aspirations may be more for things that are out of reach. This is not only about relationships, but also about what one's in life. So sometimes you may want to have, or you may have aspirations, very high aspirations, nothing wrong with it, but your capability for those aspirations sometimes are mismatched, or your efforts towards getting those aspirations fulfilled are less, or not moving in the direction where you can get your aspirations fulfilled. And so many times this also brings in frustrations. In your material achievements, you will feel frustrated, and you may also feel let down by life itself. You may feel that you're not lucky in life, and fate and luck don't shine on you. Such a person will find it difficult to control their temptation. The temptations may get the better of you, and many times you may indulge in certain things which generally are seen as succumbing to temptations. Here life may take a different trajectory, as I said, an unusual trajectory. However, it may be a sudden trajectory, and then it may also be an explosion of gains, explosion of achievements, explosions of really achieving a lot of certain heights in life which were otherwise seen as unfathomable or unachievable. But usually this doesn't get because of your efforts or because of you doing something brilliant. It comes from a certain turnaround of circumstances, or certain luck and fate coming together, or situations being created because of Venus smiling on you and then giving you those achievements. It could also mean that you get the person of your dreams, and you are with the person of your dreams, aspirations get achieved, or you meet somebody who then take you to places and help you and push you to achieve high in life. So Rahu with Venus is an unusual conjunction, a challenging, difficulty filled conjunction, and usually it takes time to get manifested. And usually it also may leave one very frustrated if one doesn't know how to handle the higher wants that one has, and not able to keep the wants under control, because then life may take you on a different trajectory from where you to come back or to get a reprieve from may be difficult. And that is the placement of Rahu first from Venus or in conjunction with Venus. Rahu second from Venus gets the earning and livelihood into contention here. Venus is about materialism, and when Rahu gets second from Venus, so here the material desires connected to Venus come into question. This is not a placement where we are talking about Venus is in the first house or in the Lagna and Rahu is in the second house. Here we are talking about wherever Venus is, Rahu is second to it. If Venus is in the fourth house, then Rahu is in the fifth. If Venus is in the seventh house, then Rahu is in the eighth, and so on. So here the earning potential connected to Venus or materialistic favors or materialistic aspirations kicks in. Even if the person tries to get his or her earnings or livelihood through usual means, they will find that they are getting pushed into a trajectory where your earnings, your livelihood becomes a little unusual. Sometimes it is also not stable. Stability seems to be lacking in your livelihood, in your earning, and there are ups and downs. Sometimes you will find that the quality of life is very good, and sometimes you are really struggling for even existence. So this is sometimes a hand to mouth existence, and sometimes sudden flare up and getting a lots of goodies in your hands, and then you don't know where these goodies are coming from. However, this is also a placement where your principles get under pressure because of your aspirations to get a certain kind of livelihood, a certain kind of earning, and certain kind of quality in life. So the how you earn gets under pressure, your principles get under pressure, and sometimes you push the boundaries of your family's traditions, what values you brought up in, and so it is also an enticing position to earn from unusual means or earn from avenues which may otherwise not be socially acceptable or definitely acceptable to your family. The person who gets enticed to even earn through suspected means, or those means which are not may not be very well accepted by society or the traditional means. However, this is also a good placement for earning through the IT, technology. So technology oriented connections, and through that earning a lot and getting a lot of material benefits through technology is also this placement. If Venus is in the 4th house, for example, and if Rahu goes in the 5th house, second to Venus, then here there will be unusual means of getting property, unusual means of even getting children, for example, where you may need, even possible that you may need medical help for the birth of your children. Here you may also take unusual risks and even speculative risks that you may take, because 4th and 5th house are getting connected. You may also have an unusual desire for vehicles and different vehicles, and vehicles beyond your means. You may crave for those kind of vehicles also, you may crave for those kind of houses also, and sometimes voila, by fate and luck, but turn of fate and luck, you may even get them. So wherever Rahu is placed, there will be something unusual about that if there is a first and second connection. So as we are talking about 4th and 5th house, here the children may be very special also, or may be different from the children around you. One of your child may even be a child prodigy, or may have talent much beyond what the other people or generally children may have of their age. So Rahu second to Venus is definitely a placement or connected to high earning. Wants and your needs are definitely under question from earning potential, how you earn and how you get those earnings from. However, if connected to technology, proper use of technology, this can be a very good placement of very, very high achievement in you, and even unfathomable achievements which you may not have started off thinking that you may achieve. That is the placement of Rahu second from Venus. Rahu third from Venus is a placement where how you work, how you approach work, how much work that you put in, how much hard work that you put in comes under contention here. So here either the person is an extremely hard worker, very, very hard working person who wants to work very, very hard so that he can achieve the material gains in life and can lead a good life, and even in relationship, aspiring for a certain relationship or wanting to keep the family or spouse happy, the person may work very, very hard. On the flip side, this can also be somebody who doesn't want to work hard, is very, very lazy, and tries to find ways and means where he does not need to work very hard, but somehow is able to still get the goodies in life and get aspirations fulfilled without putting too much of hard work in. This person is looking always for a smart work or even shortcuts to be able to get what he desires. However, this person has unusual ideas of what he or she can do. So even while working or being in a certain job or in a career, they may always look out for ways and means where they can get a quick buck, or they may look at avenues of where they can do something different from where their job is, or have a second line of income also. So they are always on the lookout for opportunities, doing it by themselves, or self-enterprise, or doing some earning on the side. So a person who is always on the move is the person with Rahu in the third from Venus. The person may also be in marketing or may do short journeys connected to his work also. The person may be very, very adept at using social media, may even be a blogger, may even be a writer. If the person wants to write fiction, then the person can get a lot of achievement, can be somebody who's very well known, and can be somebody who's very well known in the circles in the opposite gender. So if you are a man, if you is writing, then you may have a lot of female fans who may like your blogs, who may read your blogs, and who may be your fan. and using your social media, using unusual marketing and branding techniques, you can reach out and you can get a lot of name and fame connected to using social media, connected to writing also, as long as you are writing fiction or you are using unusual ways to marketing, and you have a very strong Mercury also in your horoscope. And such a person will, at least, even if he has a job or a career, at least once in his life may try to do something on his own, may try some self-enterprise. If the person feels that he can achieve, or if he gets good success, then he may continue on the path, or he may even give in easily. However, there may be some people who try enough times and eventually get the success, because this is a placement of getting success through a self-enterprise if you don't lose your way in the bargain. Here, the relationship with the younger sibling may also be little differently or unusual. Either you are in total love with your younger siblings and you get along extremely well like a house on fire, or you may not stand each other. There is nothing like normal sibling relationship here. Generally with your younger sibling, that kind of a relationship you may have, which may be different from the relationship which you may have with the elder sibling also. Even your neighbors, for example, may be from a different culture, may be from a different social strata, may come from a different religion, or even come from a different country. So there will be definitely something unusual, very, very different also about the neighbors that you live in, the society that you live in. So in terms of overall life, this is a life of hard work and through a lot of self-enterprise, gaining a lot materialistically and then rising in life, and that is the placement of Rahu, third from Venus in the horoscope. Rahu fourth from Venus, there will be something unusual about your parents. Either one of the parents will be a little different or unusual from the other parent. They may not come from the same social strata or social background, or even the religion or caste, or one of your parents would have a very unusual way of working, or their approach towards you may be unusual, or the relationship that one of the parents has towards you may be unusual. Sometimes with such a placement, there can also be children who come from a broken family, or where the home environment is not very, very positive or very, very conducive also. Or such children may also leave home earlier than the other children and make a life on their own, and most of their achievements may come with less support from parents, but more success coming on their own hard work and their own enterprise. There will always be something unusual about the home environment of such people. They themselves may end up getting married to somebody who's a little different from usual partners. They may marry somebody who's different from a different caste. There will be something unusual about the home environment also. There may be more than one earning also, and one earning may go through ups and downs, or the earning of the native itself may go through huge ups and downs. There will be less stability in terms of how you earn, or your material conveniences that you get may also not be something which you have stability throughout, which means all the material things or material conveniences that you want, you may not have all of that. There will always be something which is missing and which is you're chasing. Either your house is not in order, or your car is not in order, or the daily conveniences that you have, electronic that you have, something you're always craving for, always chasing, when Rahu is in the fourth house from Venus. The home of such people will also be a little different in how they keep it up, or what kind of things they have in the house, what kind of furniture they have, what is the theme of the house will also be different. There will also be a lot of dynamism at home, which could also mean that you initially may even change many houses before you eventually settle into a proper home or abode which you can call your own. Say for example, Venus is in the 7th house and Rahu is 4th from Venus, where Rahu is in the 10th house. Then because of the 7th and 10th connection, then the spouse may be connected to work. You may meet the spouse at work, or your spouse may also be in the same line of work which you may be working in. And if there is a 7th and 10th connection, then the person can do very, very well in business also. Your spouse and you, if you work together, then also you can do very well. The partnership can be very, very well. In fact, you can make a career out of working with your spouse, or be in a partnership with somebody, or have good relations with team members, and then doing very, very well in career. But here, if it's the 5th and 8th house connection, where Venus is in the 5th house and Rahu is in the 8th house, and then here the person may take unusual risk or undue risks or unwanted risks, and because of that the career may, or the earning may go through ups and downs. The material gains may go through ups and downs also, and they may also have challenges with inheritance also. There may also be tug of war. If the relationship with the spouse or with the partner comes under duress, then there could also be a tug of war for shared resources. So this is how the connection between Rahu and Venus is panning out. And if there is no Dusthana connection there, then it is a better placement rather than when Rahu and Venus are getting connected to some Dusthana. So Rahu 4th from Venus is a materialistic, achievement oriented placement. This can give you multiple properties, multiple houses, different unusual earning, and different environment in the house, either connected to parents or connected to spouse. But if you are careful and if you make your investments well, then this is definitely a placement of huge material gains in life, and that is the placement of Rahu 4th from Venus. Rahu 5th from Venus is a money connection placement, where such a person may be in field connected to finance or accounts or banking or wealth management or in drama or connected to arts. So there is something which is either connected to money, finance, accounts, banking, or connected to arts with this placement, or maybe even on the lower side connected to even education. Such people may have one child or maybe have many children. So usually either you may have one child or more than three or more children. Very less can somebody have 2 children, or if they have just 2 children, then you will find that there is a difference between the sensibilities of the children and also the capabilities of the children. Also there will be difference between them, and both the children will be not of the same aptitude and attitude. Such people may also have a lot of career changes and unusual career changes. In your first job, you may be connected to a career in or a job in one industry, and in the second job you may get connected to very different industry, or in a very different set of roles or very unusual surroundings than in your earlier company. So everything, when you make a job change, it will be very different from the earlier job, in connected to either earnings or the industry or the work environment. So there will be something very different from the earlier one. There will not be stability in the environment or the industry that you work or the conditions at work. Such people will also have very unusual romantic liaisons. Such people may either have a love relationship with somebody either with a lot of age difference, or may have unusual tastes in their romantic partner. The person who they aspire for or love or fall in love with can be very different from what they themselves are. So there will be a lot of difference between you and your love partner, and even your friends may be question your choice of a partner or your love interest. The person may be unusual in terms of coming from a different caste, different religion, or you may even have a same-sex relationship. Can also be a case. Such people may also have a gay relationship or be attracted to the same gender also. Such people can also be bisexual. If they are straight, then there will be something unusual about the partner also, or they may experiment a lot with different liaisons, different romantic liaisons before they settle into a relationship. Their relationships will go through unusually high ups and downs. There will be one time in one relationship which may be stable, and then suddenly the relationship breaks, and then 1 or 2 other relationships break, and then the next one after that is stable. So there is not a stability in terms of relationship, there is no stability in terms of a love interest, there is no stability in terms of your career. Initially, at least the first 7 to 10 years, it takes time for you to settle down also. However, this is a good placement for making money, being very sharp, making good investments. But this is also a placement where you could make one wrong decision, where the whole investment falls down like a house of cards. So be careful of where you invest, because this can be a very big money spinner for you, but one wrong one wrong step can make the whole thing come down. So be really careful of how you make your investments, diversify your investments, and also look at career changes more carefully, and don't just rush into career changes just because something looks good, because after you get into a new career, into a new job, then it could be an eye-opening experience for you. So as long as you are careful, as long as you are keeping your aspirations under check and take decisions with both the eyes open and ears open, this is a good materialistic money oriented success oriented placement for you, which in the long run can also be a very good placement for getting huge success in performing arts and connected to business also. If one doesn't tend to become a little gambler in terms of your relationship, in terms of your decisions, in terms of your job, then this placement is a long-term achievement oriented placement, and that is the placement of Rahu 5th from Venus. Rahu 6th from Venus is a challenging placement where relationships are concerned. Here sometimes the person doesn't know how and why they are sometimes facing the challenges from the opposite gender or in their relationships. Many a times the challenges come which are misunderstandings, because of misunderstandings also, miscommunication also, or personality differences, and many times those challenges are not that big that require that kind of an ups and downs or that kind of a roller coaster ride which Rahu 6th from Venus takes you on. Here you without a warning, the relationships can also break. Without a warning, you get into a relationship also. This is a quick attraction but quick getting out of a relationship placement with Rahu 6th from Venus, especially with Rahu and Venus get into 2nd and 7th position, with Venus is in the 2nd house, Rahu is in the 7th house, or Venus is in the 4th house and Rahu gets into the 9th house, or Venus is in the 11th house and Rahu gets into the 4th house. So here in such placements you can also have challenges in relationship where ups and downs in relationships are seen, and some sort of an inimical relationship with the opposite gender where there is a love and hate relationship also. So even when you are in the relationship, there is always something which is not going right. There is always some animosity which you are trying to keep under wraps or trying to keep under control so that the relationship doesn't go awry. Such a person may work in a service oriented environment, in a service industry, or some service connection may come into where they work, and this may also come from getting some connection to customer service. So customers become very important, customer interactions become very important, and how you cater to customers, whether in service or products, become the essence of what kind of a success you get. So how you deal with customers or how you deal with the service industry can then lead you to higher success connected to your career or job. When Rahu is in 6th from Venus, this is also a placement where your vehicles can bring sudden challenges. Sudden breakdowns in the vehicles may have sudden bumps, sudden dents. Your vehicle gets, there will always be a time when there will be at least one dent on your vehicle, whether you like it or not. So small dashes, small bumps, small breakdowns, small repairs in your vehicles is all the time happening with Rahu in the 6th from Venus. So with such a placement, it is always good to have strong insurance, and also in relationships to be more careful. Otherwise this can lead into litigations and a bad breakup in the relationship, which can even pull you into court cases, and those kind of litigations may also happen where you end up becoming poorer, frustrated and unhappy. So as long as you are careful and your focus is on having better relations with the opposite gender, you can do very well in career, connected to customer service, connected to the service industry, and that is the placement of Rahu 6th from Venus. Rahu in the 7th from Venus is a let's see who wins placement, because Rahu is on one side and Venus is on the other. So here the battle is between materialism on one side and relationships on the other. So sometimes the pull and push factor becomes either relationships or materialism. So either in your relationships, either one of them wins. So either your work wins or your relationships win. It is difficult for such a person to have stability on both. It will be difficult for you to have a great loving relationship and huge success on the career side also, on the job side also, on the business side also. One side is always under some duress, one side always seems to be losing out to the other. If one side starts to do very well, for example, if you start to do very well in relationships, and the moment you start to slowly focus on work because you feel work is getting neglected, then you find that your relationship slowly seems to be going downhill. So this placement is a tug of war. It's a difficult tightrope walk where Rahu is in the 7th from Venus. Sometimes the partner or you may go through a game of one-upmanship, who gets the last word in and who wins arguments, who says sorry first, and that kind of ups and downs and unnecessary ups and downs, but something which you can't keep away from also Rahu 7th from Venus forces you to indulge in. Such a person may be in and out of several relationships before ultimately settling into a relationship. Usually it may also happen that when the opposite gender, they are interested in you and they take feedback from others who know you, a faulty image or misunderstanding about you may come about also. Or it will be difficult for your partners to always give you the credit for who you are. There will always be some gap which you will feel that with all your efforts you are not able to fathom, you are not able to cross the big gorges that you need to cross so that your relationship can be on par. There is always a big chasm or gorge between who you are and what your partner understands you as who you are, what your partner understands you to be. This is a good placement for business. However, this is also placement where one can be cheated if one is not very careful. You can either be cheated in one relationship or you can be cheated in a business environment through business partners or even your colleagues at work. So it is always better that you keep a very ethical mannerism of how you deal with people, keep good relationship and make it difficult for them to put you under the bus. Sometimes it is also on the other hand where you may misconstrue the partner and the partner seems to be less caring or less interested in you, and hence you will find that one thing is always not working out. If Rahu and Venus are in the, say for example, in the 5th and the 11th house axis, then one of the houses will surely suffer. Either your social connections will suffer, or your education will suffer, or your dealings with children will suffer, or your speculative investments will suffer. So with Rahu and Venus and 7th from each other, try and focus more on the relationship bit and not focus too much on materialism, because otherwise you may not get, otherwise at least the peace and light will be missing from you. And that is the placement of Rahu from 7th from Venus, a good business oriented, success oriented placement as long as you keep the relationship intact. And that is the placement Rahu 7th from Venus. Rahu 8th from Venus can make you an enigma in your relationships. So you could be suddenly in and out of relationships, in fact without warning also. In the morning your relationship seems to be good, in the evening there is some challenge, there is some issue that suddenly comes up. Many times the issues are very less. So either you go through a huge ups and downs in your relationship, or your relationships are always on a seesaw. In the morning you have a big fight and the evening you have a great make-up sex with your partner, or you are not on talking terms with your partner where your partner is trying to mend ways with you and trying to go overboard to do that. So there is always this big seesaw battle which is going through in relationship, or going through how you work with people, or how you establish a relationship with others. A breakup may happen out of nowhere, an infidelity issue may come out of nowhere, a sudden issue related to shared resources may happen out of nowhere, a sudden issue connected to your sexual preferences may come out of nowhere. Somebody may indulge in something outside of marriage without thinking about it, where the situation suddenly happens and you don't know what went wrong. So one has to guard when Rahu gets into 8th from Venus, where opposite gender related issues can suddenly come out of the blue and you don't know how to handle, how to tackle them. For women, uterine related issues, or for men, prostate related issues can also suddenly flare up. This is however a good placement for inheritances or making a lot of money through other people's money. So if you are in any business or any vocation or any service connected to other people's money, or wealth management for others, or taxation or audit, then this can be a fantastic placement. Or even connected to government or connected to IT, then this can be a very good placement, as long as you keep your relationship in check and also keep your urges in check. This can also be if Venus is very strongly afflicted, even visiting people outside of marriage for paid sex, going to prostitutes, or indulging in pornography, or having at least one bad habit or one bad addiction. Either alcohol or drugs can be, and sometimes somebody can even go overboard and spoil their health because of the placement of Rahu 8th from Venus, especially if that gets connected to a Dusthana like 6th, 8th or 12th house. As long as you don't indulge too much or experiment with unusual people or different people or outside of your relationship or outside of wedlock, don't take too much risks with notices, with taxations and with the government, then you are safer. though the challenges may come up every now and then. However, if you are keeping ethical behavior, if you are somebody who's committed in your relationship and you will not look outside of the relationship, then the tendency of a breakup and challenges are reduced. But yeah, this is also big give and take. The more you give, more you receive here. So if you start to give more in a relationship, slowly you will tend to get more. If you start to do more in your career and your job, then you find that you will also get more later on in life. So this is a placement where you keep sudden issues, troubles at bay because of keeping your attitude in check, keeping your relationship in check, and long term this can be a good placement where you can gain unexpected sudden rise in your career and your wealth because of Rahu place 8 from Venus. Rahu 9 from Venus is a curiosity oriented placement. Here you are very curious in different people. You may be curious in different religions, you may be curious in different cultures, you may be very curious in different countries. So a person who has a lot of friends from different cultures, or is interested in different religions, or takes unusual interest in different learnings, is this placement. A person can be very well traveled, make a lot of short trips or even long trips to foreign lands, have a lot of different connections of people or friendships in different cultures also. The person may also take up education in one different field from what the norms are. So you may take up a different upcoming educational field rather than which is an established field. You may also be interested in higher learning or even the spiritual realm. You may not be so very religious. You may not visit temples or mosques or places of worship. However, you will have a strong sense of humanity, and so you may not agree completely or conform to the societal norms which are existing in society, and hence sometimes you have unusual relationships with your gurus, your teachers, your professors, and even your father also. Your father may also have a very different approach to life, or how to lead life from yours, and so you may be at loggerheads to how your father looks at you should lead life versus what you believe in. With such a placement, the intimacies usually starts at school, or starting off in your intimacy with fellow students in your school itself, or getting an unusual attraction towards teachers, and it takes a lot of time before you get out of it. Even when you are in college or high institution, there too the attraction towards teachers or gurus may be very high. In rare occasions, the person may in fact get into a relationship, an unusual relationship even with a teacher, which may be seen as taboo to society or the societal norm. The person may have unusual study interests also, may take up a subject which is very different from the norm, may take a PhD in a different line from what their main educational interests are or educational leanings are, and can even have one break in education before they continue to do their education further. So it's like you finish your graduation, you finish your masters, for example, then you start working, and then again later on you take up some other studies, or you take up another degree, or you take an interest in another higher learning or another higher working or another degree, another college degree later on in life with this placement. If there is a 4th house 12th house connection here, where Venus is in the 4th house and your Rahu gets into the 12th house, which is 9 houses from where Venus is placed in the 4th house, there your spouse may come from different cultures or may even come from foreign lands, or your house or your residence may get connected to foreign lands also. So you may start off in one education and end up in a career into another vocation, and also get connected to different cultures, or make a good name, or get success in foreign lands or very far away from your place of birth. So a placement of unusual educational trajectory, unusual religious leanings, unusual approach to higher learning and higher degrees, and different social connects also is the placement with Rahu 9 from Venus. With Rahu 9 from Venus, if you stick to your educational qualification and continue in that trajectory and continue to make that as your line of work, then the doors of fate and luck open for you, if not sooner than later. However, through your education, through your higher learning, through your unusual educational means, you can achieve a lot in life, and that is the placement of Rahu 9 from Venus. Rahu 10 from Venus is a very career oriented placement, and it's connected to the money aspects of Venus. So accounts, finance, audits, government work, IT, manufacturing, or anything connected to the richer life, more affluent life is this placement. So if you're in banking, in a big bank, a large bank, in an MNC bank, then you do better than when you work for a small bank. If you are working for a wealth management firm and dealing with customers who are very rich, then you tend to do better than getting connected to customers who are on the lower realm. If you're working with government officials, but you're working with government officials of the highest level, then you tend to do very better than working with people who are lower down in the rung. A career connected to food, rich life, or richness in life. So if you're selling cars, but if you're selling supercars, if you're selling food or working in a restaurant, but working in a restaurant for the affluent, then you tend to do much better in life with Rahu 10th from Venus. So your career can get connected to the high life, to the good life, and through that you get goodies in life also. Your spouse can also get connected to work, or you meet your spouse at work, or you may also work with this spouse in the same industry is this placement, but this has to be a better and affluent industry or catering to services of the highest order, of the highest richness than at the lower rung, for you to be really doing very well in life and to do very well in your materialistic achievements as well. And even when you have a relationship at work, you may find some other enticements also at work, and that is a challenge which you may have, because this keeps bringing you enticement after enticement connected to your work, or connected to your earnings, or connected to your livelihood. So one has to be a little careful, and even if your spouse is not working in connected to your industry or connected or working at your place of work, you may find that there may be some enticements at work which may pull you in a different direction, and that could be a downfall in your career. So this is a placement where there was always a challenge to cheat or take a shortcut or get into a relationship which brings you down in your career, in your vocation, in your business. So one has to be really careful in a very strong ethical conduct where Rahu is in 10th house from Venus. If Venus is in the 2nd house and Rahu is in the 11th house, then this is a placement of huge money, unfathomable money through social connection to the social network. If this is the 3rd house and 12th house connection where Venus is in the 3rd house and Rahu goes in the 12th house, then this can be a huge placement through gains from foreign land, through imports and exports, or you get doing very well in a good job, in a good placement in foreign lands, also connected to government services, also connected to the health environment, also connected to the opposite gender, also doing very well using the social media, and through that having more connections across national boundaries, and then doing very well is the placement Rahu 10th from Venus. A person with Rahu 10th from Venus can also do very well in the real estate industry, or getting somehow connected to something related to the home decor, home environment, connected to banking loans for homes, or in real estate, or connected to decorating the home, or in home mortgages. Anything connected to home can also be a very good career, or you can do very well even in speculative investments in houses. However, be careful not to take the unethical or shorter route, and you will find that you can really do very well both in career connected to money or house or real estate or the high living, but also in gaining property. And that is the placement of a very strong Rahu 10th from Venus. Rahu 11th from Venus means you have a huge social circle. However, the people who you truly call friends may still be less. However, you may also have unusual friends. Lot of them your family may not agree with, or social circle may not agree with. That kind of friendships you may keep, those kind of social network that you may keep, that your immediate social environment may not like that, your immediate friends may not like that, your family may not appreciate. Those kind of friends also in the friend circle you may have. These liaisons may be across boundaries, and lot of such people may also be very well to do. You may have good social connections, and you may also be connected to some people who are much outside of your league also. They may be high achievers also, and some of them may also be really lower down than strata. So your range of social connections will be huge, and the people that you call friends will be very unusual and very different from each other. This is certainly a placement of working in large organizations and then slowly rising up the corporate ladder, having good relations with managers and supervisors, where initially the appreciation is not coming through, the support at work is not coming through, but slowly, by virtue of you working hard and keeping ethical conduct and being in the good books of bosses, you rising up in career, and because of keeping those good relationships coming to your support and aiding and helping you to grow in life. This is also good placement of you can also do very well in a business where you're working in business with friends. So if like-minded people come together and start up some business environment, make some investment, then this can be a very, very good placement. However, the key here is not to try shortcuts, to take it easy, to take it slowly, not to push relationships. Otherwise, there could be one partner who could become thorn in the flesh with this placement. If you are able to keep good relationship, if you are able to manage your social connections very well, then this is a placement of huge success, huge name, fame, adulation, and overall huge gains in both material realm, in both the material realm as well as the social level. This is also placement where one can feel cheated and one can also feel dumped, used and dumped also by friends if one is not careful, and one is not careful in what kind of friends you keep because of the choices that you are making and having this range of friendships across the social strata. If you are somebody who can have a reputation of being an ethical person, a morally right person, then you will find that the tendency to get into trouble or tendency to get dumped will be far less, and you will gain much later in life if you are ready to take it slow, but not too much depend on external social circle, but depend on a core team of people who you work with closely. And that is the placement of Rahu 11th from Venus. Rahu 12th from Venus is like a shadow which is chasing the material side of life as well as your love life. So there is always something which is always falling in the shadows, which means that you will find that while you're trying your best in your love life or into get material favors, there is something which is always seems to be missing, either in love life or in what kind of material benefits you get or achievements you get. There is always, you feel a sense of something being less, because the hunger and the greed of Rahu overshadows everything else, being 12th from Venus. So whatever you get in life, there is always that this could have been better. You may be with the best partner, yet you will find something unusual or something missing in the partner. You may be having the best quality of life, but you still have something which is missing, or you're aspiring for more. And hence, such a person always likes to live it up. Such people want to have a really good quality of life, and so they end up spending more than what they are actually capable of also. And hence, sometimes they may live beyond their means also. So one has to be careful with what kind of wants you create with this placement Rahu 12 for Venus. And because you are living it up, there is always a strain on the money aspect, and so there is always the pressure of money also. However, this is a very good placement of doing very well in foreign lands and living and doing good away from your place of birth. So if you are working away from your place of birth and you are working in foreign lands or moving away from your place of birth for a long period, then this is a placement of very good success and very good stable success also, and very good relationship also. However, your relationship could also be with somebody who is not from your country, maybe from a different country altogether, carrying a different passport maybe, and may come from a different social strata also from you, because of Rahu being in 12th from Venus. This may also be a placement where you sleep late at night or you have sleeplessness, but it's difficult for you to get up early in the morning also. So one needs to be careful of what habits you cultivate. So if you cultivate this habit of sleeping very late in night, then it will be difficult for you to get up early in the morning. So this is also a placement where you need to cultivate a certain discipline how you carry your conduct, discipline in how you spend money, discipline in what you really want in life, discipline in controlling your aspirations, discipline in overall how you manage your day-to-day work, and then this placement can do very well for you over a period of time. Such a person usually will make big plans, will have high aspirations, will also have big plans. However, to do a proper concrete planning sometimes is missing, and hence many of the plans seem to fail also, or seem to not be able to take off very well. Or if they take off midway, the project loses steam, you lose interest, and then the whole thing comes to a standstill or crumbles down. So if you are strong aspirations, nothing wrong in having good aspirations, strong aspirations, big aspirations, but it is important to plan well, it is important to be disciplined, it is important to make plans which are more reachable, and then work on it and be disciplined, and then give enough time so that the dreams can be realized. This is a good placement of doing a lot of charity work, somebody be getting associated with NGOs, or donating a lot, or helping out other institutions also, and also getting connected to spiritual work is this placement. But one has to take control of one's health, has to keep a strong health regimen, eat healthy, otherwise a lot of visits to the clinics, visits to the hospitals, even hospitalization and even need for surgery can be seen with this placement. So if one is careful in how much you indulge, whether in alcohol or in food or in the opposite or with the opposite gender, and how much you keep your needs and wants under control, and how you lead a disciplined life, can give you huge success, immense success, both at a social level as well at a material level with Rahu 12 from Venus. So friends, now that we have talked about Rahu in the 12 places from Venus, look into your own horoscopes and see where Rahu is placed, what challenges it is throwing up, what yogas or doshas it is in, what aspects are there of either Rahu or on Rahu or Venus, and basis that different combinations and permutations may come up to you rather than the generic ones that we talked about, and basis that try and manifest that placement of Rahu from Venus better. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Till some other time with some other video, this is your friend, astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.